If, having created a chart at some future point, you decide you don't quite like this chart layout type that you've chosen, so you don't like the clustered column chart, you want a different type of chart, then that's very easy to change without at all affecting the data that sits behind the chart. We simply select the chart object, go to Chart Tools and Design, and right over on the right hand side is Change Chart Type. One click here takes us back into the chart type dialog box that we saw when we first created a chart. And from in here we can choose a different chart type, so line, pie, bar, area, or even one of the more obscure types, such as surface. Notice when you move your mouse over, it expands the size of the chart so that you can see it better. Also, because we already have some chart data, when you hover over, you're actually expanding your own data. Now, a pie chart is slightly different to any of the other chart types in that it can only map one series at a time. So you'll see when you hover, you can only see 2010. You cannot see the other years. I do quite like pie charts and we'll explore them slightly separately. So I don't want a column chart, but maybe I wish to have a line chart because it is about sales. So let's choose a normal line or a stacked line, 100% stacked line. Line with markers, that's what I really quite like. Okay, and that shows me each of the years is a different colour, and then each of the people is across the bottom. So the yellow line is 2013, and I see that broken down into each person. Now, ordinarily, a time chart like this would make more sense if horizontally were the years and the lines were for each person. Well, we can make that change by going to Select Data and use this option here which says Switch Row/Column. One click there switches the mapping for the series and the categories. OK. And we see that we now have the years running across the bottom and each line is then an individual person. That way you can compare better the sales for each person. So I can see that Jeremy, who's yellow, did sort of okay, but then had a drop off this year, whereas Sally has steadily increased year on year, and Bob has gone up and down and up, so quite erratic sales-wise. I then don't actually need to see the data, so I can close that. So that's not only the ability to change the chart type, which we can do from the Chart Tools Design ribbon, change chart type, but also swap the way that the data is graphed by switching the series with the category or the category with the series. So sometimes graphs make more sense when they're graphed one way on than another way on. Having made our final decision on the chart type that suits the data that we're graphing, we may then wish to choose one of the other chart styles. Here we have the chart style section with a drop down, and what this does is it takes the basic chart type that you've chosen, which is our line with markers, and then just applies a number of different styles. So you can see here this little option has given me 3D lines, so they've all got a little bit of drop shadow. This one here has got thicker lines but without the drop shadow. Then we have some different types of markers with the legend in a different place. And then we have some double lines, and then we have some contrast where we've gone for a dark background and then bright colours in front. There's our basic format. Then we have some grey background but with the numbers actually part of the mapping. Slightly different variants there, different style. Lots of grid lines in the background of that one. Again, another contrast option there. Another chart style showing the values and then a basic chart title. So these built-in styles make it easier for you to choose a chart type that is nice, trendy, presentable, and grabs people's attention when they're looking at your Word document. Now, obviously, you could go through and actually edit each of the elements yourself, but having a chart style to choose from just makes life that little bit easier. I'm going to go for the contrast one. I quite like that. Now, having chosen a style type, we can actually do a quick change of the colours to monochromatic or colourful, or we could go with different variations of the same colour. So I could choose this green idea, and each bar is then based around green, but a different tone, or maybe orange. Choice is down to you, but you keep the same style and you keep the same chart type, you're just changing the way the colours work. I think we might revert back to one of the colourful options actually. And then to help you out even more, because Word just wants to keep helping, we have the option here for a quick layout. Now this will take your chosen style and colour scheme and add in various elements depending on the choice you choose. So this one here, for example, adds in a chart title. This one moves the legend to the right. This one puts the legend underneath but no chart title. This one has little drop vertical lines. This one puts the data values in. This one puts the data values in but with horizontal grid lines. This one removes all the values completely. This one's bare bones graph, no grid lines, no axes, no labels, no nothing. And this one is another one that has the drop lines but shows the upper and the lower values together. I quite like that one. Yeah, let's go with that one. So this is a quick layout. It adds in some of the elements that we've already explored and then allows you to edit any text boxes such as the access title and the chart title here. But it keeps in place whatever chart style you've chosen, whatever chart type you've chosen, and whatever color scheme you've chosen to go with. So here we can change the chart type. We can even swap the category and series data over, and then we can apply one of the built-in chart styles, choice of colors, and then a quick layout option to get you up and running as fast as possible with your charts.